Hi guys, welcome to the video on our German Look Karmann Ghia project. This is the body shell, which is now in first prime. The body shell was in pretty good condition. We purchased this from a chap who had started the project. We've subsequently replaced the headlight bowls, some metalwork around the headlight bowls. The nostrils here have been welded up, so they've gone back to factory. We've got some bonnet pins in the bonnet, and the bonnet's all gapped up. Generally speaking, the shell didn't have a lot of rust, so we haven't had many rust repairs to do. There's a bit of damage around the car, nothing too major. Doors gapped up nicely. It was a later shell, and our client wanted the earlier rear lights. They're a little bit smaller. So again, we've got some body cuts, let them in through here. Boot lid was a little bit battered, but we managed to save that, not too bad at all. We've made the rear valance removable that would sit here. Just makes the engine a bit easier to get it in and out. Again, door gaps this side, looking pretty good. So yeah, the metalwork was completed. Chris cracked on with the bodywork and got it into first prime. So now this is in first prime. We'll allow it to sit for a couple of weeks to let the primer sink back. Then the shell will be blocked and re-primed, then prepped and painted. So there's another few hundred hours left yet before we've got a nice shiny shell. Inside, we've got a few modifications. We've got brackets welded into the rear arches for the roll cage. We've had to move this bulkhead about 6 inches further back. It was originally here in line with the B pillar, but the client's quite tall, so he needed a bit more room for his legs, so we've been able to move the seat back. A little mod on the rear parcel shelf for the header tank for the charge cooler, and then the dash has been converted to right-hand drive, and we fabricated a 3-hole fascia to allow fitment of Porsche gauges to the dash. You might have seen on a previous project that we did, we grafted in the whole 911 dash, but this client just wanted 3 little Porsche gauges in there, so this is what we've done. And we've got the double DIN radio going in there as well. But yeah, generally speaking, not too much work has gone into the body shell. So yeah, let's show you the chassis. Here's the chassis for our gear project. Now this is the bit that I get really excited about, but might bore a few other people. There's a lot going on. It's got wishbone front suspension, which will be great for track use. This car's been built with track in mind. So instead of having torsion beam front suspension, it's fully independent, and we can raise and lower suspension on the coilovers here. They're adjustable for rebound as well on the dampers. Big Porsche 996 brakes, and then our own caliper conversion bracket here. So that will be pretty good at stopping 320-ish brake horsepower the engine will have. It's also received Willwood pedal box. So again, we've got individual master cylinders in there and clutch master cylinders, so that's now hydraulic. We've not put this on an air-cooled car before, but we had to modify the chassis here just to give us room for those little master cylinders in there. And then we've got braided hoses that run inside the tunnel here to the rear, and we've got obviously the hydraulic line going into the tunnel as well. We've got a bit of a complex fuel system, so the fuel will come into this here, which is a primary fuel filter and feeder pump, which will feed this swirl pot. From the swirl pot, it will then go to another fuel filter and high pressure fuel pump that currently sit inside the tunnel, so you can't see those, but you can see both lines enter there. The shifter's pretty neat, made by CAE, designed for Porsche 911s running a 915 Porsche gearbox. We had to modify all the chassis for that to get that to fit. Standard handbrake. Come to the back, we've got a 5-speed Porsche 915 gearbox, fully rebuilt. It's an early magnesium type case, which runs the bigger CV joints, 930 size CV joints. So they'll be able to hold the extra power and torque that the turbo motor will put out. Flow and return fuel lines there, all JIC fittings. It was converted from swing axle to independent rear suspension from a 944, running coilovers. So that will be able to be set up, corner weighted nicely with the coilovers, and uniball spring plate replacements. Again, we've got Porsche 996 rear brakes, brackets that are made in-house, braided brake lines, and then a 5-bar Kafer brace, which is this. That stiffens up the rear end, triangulates everything, stops wheel hop, stops the frame horns flexing. And the last thing is the hydraulic clutch slave cylinder there. So this chassis is pretty well set up now to handle the horsepower. So yeah, almost finished as well. Can't wait to get the body on it.